The Equestrian Broadcasting System and its affiliates presents Brooke the Book Course and the Bon Bon Theatre Company on the air in the adventures of Shercolt Holmes by Sir Cantor Conan Doyle.
Oh no. I can't be out already. Faust, please. It arrives later every time. Please let this be enough. Faust, please let this last me.
The September of the year I moved in with my friend Holmes was one of the coldest in history. Because of a weather scheduling mishap in the summer, the Pegasi were forced to begin with the winter snows at the very beginning of fall, or the harvest may not have properly recovered for the next summer. One night, just as the second or third snow shower had begun to set in and the winter felt imminent, I came home to find Holmes in his bedroom, quiet as the grave, except for a soft buzzing coming from within. Holmes.
Come in, dear fellow. See what I've done.
Sweet Faust, why are there bees everywhere?
To keep them from hibernating. Don't you hate that we have to stockpile honey in the winter? I know I do. Honey is delicious, especially in tea. So I decided to keep them in here in our apartment. I didn't want to trouble you, of course, so I'm keeping them in my room.
Holmes, what if they sting you? How will you even sleep in there?
Oh, I know how to take care of them, Trotson. I've not been stung once. You wouldn't hurt me, would you, my lovelies?
All right, Holmes, I'm officially concerned. Also, you look rather sickly.
Oh, don't worry about that. I'm a bit under the weather, I suppose, but I shall be fine soon enough.
I never really think about you getting sick. Sometimes you seem more like a machine than a pony.
Even machines need tune-ups now and then. Anyway, how was your trip to Manhattan? Did the surgery go as planned?
Yes, they say my foreleg should be fine now. No limp at all, see?
I'm very glad to hear that. Head rush.
Are you sure you're all right?
Yes, I'm expecting my medication to arrive soon, and I should be fine.
I didn't know you took medication.
Just occasionally.
What kind of medication do you take?
Come in!
Letter for you, Mr. Holmes, and you, Doctor.
Hospital bells already. I can't say I didn't see that coming. What's your letter?
It's from an old schoolmate of mine.
Who were you expecting?
Just my medicine. I suppose I'll be fine another day. Though it's already been a week.
So who is this old school friend?
My acquaintance, Giselle. She considered me her friend. I'm afraid I wasn't a very good friend to her.
Is it a case?
No, she's invited me to come and spend the weekend at her home.
Perhaps you would feel better if we went, Holmes. After all, fresh air is always my prescription to everything, along with a healthy lifestyle, of course.
Perhaps. It is back in the Griffish Isles where I grew up. I suppose it would be nice to return and see some old places and old friends. Perhaps undo some wrongs.
I'm sorry. You grew up in the Griffish Isles?
Yes, in Lyondon, south of Trotson.
You were raised with griffins?
I shudder to think what you'll say when I tell you Giselle herself is a griffin.
Holmes, you can't be serious.
Of course I am.
And you were going to consider spending the weekend with one of those disgusting creatures?
I am considering going to visit an old friend who gave me company when no pony else would. You are not invited, so it's not your concern.
You think I'd let you go to that disgusting town of Crossbreeders without any—
You are talking about my home, Trotson. My only friend before I met you, if you don't mind. I would prefer you stop talking about it if you are going to insult it.
Holmes, if you're going to go, at least let me come as added security for you.
I may have gained some followers since you started publishing stories about me, Trotson, but I'm not that famous.
No, security from this griffin.
I do not need security. I do not need protection. Do you forget that I am the boxing champion of Canterlot University and quite the marksman with my gun? I don't need you to protect me. And I would go farther, Trotson. I dare say there are few ponies that I would trust as much as the griffins of Lyondon.
I didn't realize you were a sympathizer.
So any pony who disagrees with you is a griffin sympathizer? Every pony who has a differing opinion is guilty of genocide, is that it? I might remind you, Sir Trotson, that the war is over. Griffins and ponies are allies once again.
I am coming with you, Holmes.
So you can insult a sweet, kind griffin? No, I don't think so.
I promise, I won't insult your friend, Holmes.
No.
Holmes, please. I don't want you going alone.
I suppose you can come. But you must swear on our friendship. You will treat this griffin just like any other pony.
Fine. I swear on our friendship.
All right. I trust you to keep that promise.
Delivery for Mr. Mr. Holmes. Delivery for Mr. Holmes.
Oh, thank Faust. And thank you, my dear lady.
Why, you're very welcome.
Your medicine.
Yes, my dear fellow, you need to pack.
Are we leaving tonight?
Well, she says in the letter to come on Friday, and it's Wednesday now. It'll take 2 full days to journey to the islands. There's just enough time to catch the 7:30 train to Manhattan and catch tomorrow morning's ship to Shireland. From there, we get a carriage to Lyondon.
All right.
If you are dreading it, you don't have to go. I told you, you didn't have to.
No, I'm fine. What's the weather like in Lyondon?
Cold and rainy. Constantly cold and rainy.
And ponies want to live there. Sorry, I'm not commenting on the races that live there, just on the weather. What are you doing?
Nothing. Ready to go?
He hid the syringe and closed his recently opened package, but not before I got sight of the several medicinal prescription bottles. I knew exactly what he had ordered. The drug, known as Hasbrite, is one of the strongest painkillers known to pony kind. Its characteristic side effect being a sluggishness of the mind, one that leaves most ponies in a nearly catatonic state if they overdose. Suddenly, the many days Holmes had spent in our apartment, barely responsive, made perfect sense. I stood there in stunned silence.
Trotson?
Oh yes, I'm ready.
Excellent. I'll pack a few things as well, and we'll head out.
Are you feeling any better at all, Holmes? You look positively dreadful.
Yes, I'm fine.
Hasbrite is a painkiller. I didn't realize you'd been injured, Holmes. Is it chronic pain?
Yes.
Where?
You know my methods. Deduce what hurts me.
Hasbrite is normally taken in small doses in capsule form. In fact, I didn't know there was a way to obtain such large quantities legally, unless you are part of a medical institution. And since you are not,
Yes.
you are purchasing it illegally.
You haven't answered what it is that hurts me.
Your addiction. Withdrawals are the pain you are fighting.
Not quite.
Then what?
My mind, Trotson. I need to stimulate my mind when I don't have a puzzle to solve.
That's a poor excuse.
I'm not sure you can possibly understand.
I'm sure I can understand addictions.
It's not an addiction.
Isn't that what addicts usually say?
You can't understand, so why even try to explain? It would be like convincing you there are good griffins in the world. You see, but you do not observe. You hear, but you do not listen. Attempting to change your mind is fruitless. Believe what you want. Consider me an addict if you like.
Holmes, please, I know what is bothering you. I'm a doctor after all. We can work through this and get you off this
I don't
drug.
want or need to get off it. I need to take it, or my mind will tear itself apart.
I'm not sure what you mean.
My mind is racing, constantly. 1,000 thoughts a minute. When I have an experiment, a puzzle, a mystery, a challenge to occupy it wholly, then my mind is like a machine that's been properly greased. But my mind rebels at stagnation. Give me data. Give me work. Then I am in my proper element. But without work, my mind cannot stay occupied, and it bounces to every thought, and I cannot focus on anything. With nothing to fuel it, my mind is like an engine with nothing but loose screws, ripping itself apart. Hasbright slows and clarifies the mind, sedates it, so that I can be normal like you. So that I can think clearly and just breathe. My mind idles at 300 kilometers an hour. It's unbearable.
Holmes, there are drugs that may help you. We have medications for what you are describing. It's usually a symptom of bipolar disorder or some forms of high-functioning autism to aid with racing thoughts, but Hasbright is a dangerous, dangerous drug to use for the purpose.
I'm not going to discuss this any further, Trotson. It's my life.
Holmes, please.
I'm done talking, Trotson. Besides, we're almost here. Giselle's house is over there.
Sweet Celestia, this griffin lives in a mansion.
I know you think they all live in trailers in the woods and shoot small animals for fun, but I assure you they are very civilized.
I'm not saying anything, Holmes.
Giselle's father, Lord Mustang, is the wealthiest pony in Lyondon.
Her father is a pony!
Yes, her mother is a griffin.
I'm afraid I just don't understand it.
I'm not asking you to accept it or understand it, just to tolerate it.
Tolerance leads to acceptance.
You never have to support her or be her friend. Just deal with being around her without being rude, all right?
I promised I would.
Then don't comment on her parents, please.
I won't, Holmes. I won't say a word to her. I am talking to you.
Shercolt!
Giselle, it's great to see you.
Aw, honey, you look a little pale. The Griffish air will help you, I'm sure.
Oh, it's just a little cold I'm getting over. Nothing to worry about. I'm sure I'll feel better after taking in the air here at home. It's good to be back.
You brought a friend, too. I'm Giselle Mustang. It's an honor to meet you.
I prefer not to shake hooves, claws, whatever. I'm, a bit of a germaphobe.
Yes, he really is.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Well, please come in, Shercolt, and we'll get to know each other, Mr.,
Dr. Fawn Trotson.
Fawn. What a pretty name. Well, come on in, Fawn. We were just making tea.
I hate when people I don't know call me Fawn.
Just 3 more days of this, Shercolt. Just 3 more days.
What do you mean by that, Holmes?
As you can see, the whole house has been restored. Father and Mother's wealth is hardly modest by any means, but I must admit, after years of gambling, my father has eaten through a lot of it. Luckily, as I'm sure you remember, our family holds some of the rarest and most beautiful artifacts of Equestria's history, and Mother gave them all to me last week so I could open up a museum in downtown Lyondon to display them. She says she wanted me to have my own source of wealth should anything happen to her, and so she gave me all of these gorgeous heirlooms. There are so many, though, that we will have to rotate the exhibitions every season. From now until Hearthswarming, we are displaying relics of the founders, which is pretty amazing. We've got one of Clover the Clever's original diaries, one of Commander Hurricane's swords, which is surprisingly fragile after almost 1,500 years, if you can imagine, and, of course, one of the maps that is believed to have been used by Smart Cookie and Chancellor Puddinghead. We'd love to eventually buy relics of the other 3 founders, but so far I've been outbid at every private auction.
Giselle, I'm a bit confused. You say that your mother has given you the relics and antiquities so that you would have a source of income by displaying them. But why would you not simply inherit your father's wealth?
Oh, because Father has little money, as I said. All the money we have now is from Mother's life interest in this estate, and the relics she gave me are the only unliquidated assets we have. When Mother dies, this estate will go back to Mother's brother. He's the real owner. He hit it big with the Manhattan Stock Exchange and became a millionaire. That's why she gave them to me, so that they can't revert back to my uncle when she dies.
So how does your father support you all?
Mainly through our Grand Derby races. I'm sure you remember those. Oh, do please come see a race Sunday before you leave.
Excuse me, Miss, Mustang. Why are you so interested in equine history, anyway?
Trotson.
Your griffin is all I'm saying. I mean, you have these artifacts of Equestria's founding, but do you even celebrate Hearthswarming?
Of course. Hearthswarming Eve is my favorite holiday. You should see the decorations we put up. I guess I didn't mention it because Shercolt already knows, but my father was a pony.
I've heard.
Then why is it surprising I want to know everything about my ancestors? I love history. It's always been my special talent, and I've written some of the best-selling biographies in Equestria.
Griffins don't have special talents.
I would have phrased it more like, we don't have cutie marks, but I get your point. I'm sure you believe Faust has a plan for all of us, though, don't you?
Of course I do.
Well, she created griffins too. Just because we don't have cutie marks doesn't mean we can't have a meaning and a purpose. Just like not every pony uses their special talent to make a living. Right, Colty?
You know I certainly haven't.
But surely being a detective is your special talent.
No, my special talent is apiary. Beekeeping.
Seriously.
Yes, of course. Mysteries keep my mind busy, and I've certainly made a fine career with them, but they are not my special talent.
So that's why the bees in our apartment haven't stung you.
Oh, Colty, you keep bees inside your apartment? Oh, that's so you.
You see how little has changed?
So, that's the house. I'm sure you remember it, Colty. After all, you remember everything. But I thought Fawn here needed a tour since he's new to the area.
Thank you.
Shercolt Holmes. Lord Mustang, it's been, what, 5-6 years?
Too long, that's how long it's been. Who's your friend, dear boy?
This is my friend and colleague, Dr. Fawn Trotson.
Pleasure to meet you.
What a nice, firm hoof shake. That's army strength, am I right?
Why, yes, sir.
I served myself.
Once a soldier, always a soldier.
You know, Colty, it's kind of funny how your friend is a germaphobe, but only when he's shaking hooves with a griffin.
Yes, I suppose he just forgot himself.
I'm sure.
Yes, it was the best years of my life. I'll never forget the friends I made, the friends I lost. I left after I performed my minimum years of required service. But there have been many, many times I wish I'd stayed and did more.
I suppose you would have fought for Equestria in the Griffinstone War, right?
My dear Trotson!
No, Shercolt, that's a healthy skepticism. Yes, I would have, and I'll let you in on a little secret. Everyone on this island would do the same. Griffin and pony alike. Does that shock you?
I'm not quite sure how that can be true.
Let's just say there are many things you mainlanders don't understand about griffins. But enough talk. Let's go see the racers, huh? I'm sure you remember the old stables, right, Shercolt?
Of course he does, Father. Colty remembers everything.
I would love to see your new lineup, Lord Mustang. You like horse racing, right, Trotson?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to talk to the doctor for a second, if that's all right.
We'll see you later, then.
Meet us out there when you're done.
Listen, I know you don't like me. I can tell you don't. A lot of ponies who didn't grow up here don't like griffins, and I get that. I'm not asking you to like me.
All right, but what do you...
I love Shercolt. I've loved him since we were children.
You love him?
I worship the ground he trots on, Doctor. If he asked me, I'd be his this very moment. I would do anything for him. Understand that? Anything.
Why are you telling me this?
Do you love him?
He's my best friend. Of course I love him.
You don't have to like me. But if we both love him, then I think we can get along for one weekend, right? For his sake.
I'm being perfectly...
Rude. You have been perfectly rude.
This is difficult for me, all right? I fought creatures like you who killed my friends and comrades, and you expect me to just forget it.
No. All I'm asking is that you remember that I'm not one of the griffins you were fighting. I was on your side. Just so we don't ruin this weekend for Colty. Especially when it's clear he's been having withdrawals.
You know.
Of course I know. But before you ask, you won't get him to stop.
I don't understand how he can do it.
You don't have to. It's his life.
Well, I guess we can get along for this weekend.
Yeah. And don't worry. Our cook is a pony, so you don't have to be afraid to eat what he gives you.
I thought you weren't going to be rude either.
I wasn't being rude. I was telling you because I genuinely didn't want you to worry.
Why would you care?
Because you've been through a lot. And I don't blame veterans for being suspicious. Come on, let's catch up with Father.
This is our stable where our athletes train and rest before and after the race. The old Horseshoe Ranch. This stable has been in the family for generations, according to my brother-in-law.
And do you take bets on your races?
Well, naturally. Are you a betting stallion?
No. No, not anymore.
Who is your best jockey this time around, Lord Mustang?
Definitely Prince over here. We call him Horseshoe Prince, 'cause he's our star racer.
Good afternoon, Mr. Prince.
Yes, good day to you.
I've wagered just about everything I own on him.
He's not joking.
Yes, sir. He's gonna make us a pretty penny when he comes in first. And you will come in first, won't you, Prince?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, Father. I want to talk to Shercolt alone for a moment.
Well, you two have fun. I just know those two have a thing for each other, even if they won't admit it.
They? Holmes? Really?
Well, he hasn't said anything, but Giselle is certainly fond of him. It's a shame, really. For a long time, she wanted to wait for him. I hope he doesn't change her mind.
What do you mean?
Well, Giselle's engaged now. But for the longest time, she was intent on waiting for Shercolt. I think she just realized it was never gonna happen.
What is it, Giselle?
Colty, I need to level with you.
Of course, you can tell me anything.
My father isn't lying. He's bet literally every bit he has on this upcoming race. His gambling has led him almost to ruin. If the house didn't belong to my mother and her family, we would be out on the street.
I see. And I presume he's making such a huge bet now to pay off his other gambling debt.
Yes, Colty. I'm terrified of what he'll do if he loses. We can't pay off his debts, and if anything were to happen to my mother... Speaking of, there she goes now.
That's her riding in the carriage?
Yes, she's been wearing that veil for some time now, though. She hasn't been well the last week. She continues to take her daily ride around the lawn in the carriage, but she wears that dreadful veil, and she won't leave her room anymore. Not even to see me.
Oh, no. But Lady Mustang is the kindest mother I've ever known. She was the only mother I've ever known.
I know, Colty.
What is wrong with her?
She's been struggling with pulmonary disease for years, and the doctor says she's on the edge of death. He said last week that she could go any time between now and November. I think that's why she won't let us see her. She's trying to distance herself from us so it will hurt less, but it's only made me feel like I'm going to lose her twice.
I am truly so sorry, Giselle.
Are you hugging me?
Yes, it's something Trotson taught me. Should I stop?
No, I like it. You're really warm.
Giselle?
Just let me stay here a minute.
Is this something friends do?
Yeah, sure it is.
See, old man? Maybe she told him her feelings, and he's comforting her. I'm not too worried with Shercolt, since every pony knows he doesn't date. Faust knows my wife and I are very fond of her fiancé.
Honestly, with Holmes, I'm not sure he doesn't think that's what friends do.
Beg your pardon?
Nothing. Hey, Lord Mustang, you mentioned taking bets.
Yes, the betting office is open already if you want to try your luck.
I don't want Holmes to see me. Would you mind placing a bet for me, my lord?
Certainly. How much?
Well, I need 50 for the rent. How's 45 bits on Horseshoe Prince?
Sweet Celestia, you don't kid around.
Not where betting is concerned.
I knew it. When I saw you, I thought there's a stallion who likes his odds.
Yes, indeed, but please don't let Holmes know.
Oh, I shall be silent as the grave.
Lord Mustang, Giselle just informed me of Lady Mustang's illness. Perhaps Dr. Trotson should examine her. I know of no greater medical mind that I have encountered.
Unfortunately, I know nothing about Griffin anatomy, so I can't help Holmes.
Trotson, don't be rude.
I'm afraid my wife will only see me and her maid, Shercolt. I wish I could be obliged, but I can't override her wishes. I think it best to leave her be.
But your wife is dying, Lord Mustang. Surely we must do everything possible to...
No, I really must insist we respect her wishes.
Of course, well, I understand.
I hope you're enjoying dinner. We just hired the new cook.
Father, yet again, spared no expense.
It's in our best interest. Most nights your lady friend comes to dinner, and it's only right we give her a good impression.
Lady friend?
My fiancé.
Of course. The tan line on your claw shows you usually wear a ring.
I missed how you do that, Shercolt. He used to read us like books, tell us where we'd been, what we were doing earlier that day. It amazed all of us.
But no mare abandons her engagement ring unless she's having an affair. But only in the midst of that affair, or else she would be ashamed. However, I know by your character that you wouldn't cheat on your betrothed, and so I would normally deduce that you are ashamed of the poor background and rather meager prospects, and not wishing to embarrass your father, you remove the ring, hoping he wouldn't notice.
Actually, Holmes, she...
However, your father mentioned it, and is trying to impress her, meaning that she is wealthy, so that clearly can't be it. This leaves us with but one result. You must have removed the ring out of a sense of guilt in marrying some pony other than... Oh, no.
That was... Your deductions have gotten even better since you've been away. Thank you for...
Good job, Holmes. Well, I must say this has been an interesting weekend. It makes me wonder why we solve criminal cases when you know such interesting ponies.
I fear our vacation may be shortened, Trotson.
What do you mean?
Look out the window.
Who's that?
I don't know. It's very dark.
Yes, it is. Too dark for deductions, Holmes.
He's a short stallion, well-built. A jockey from the stable, perhaps. He's wearing dark clothes, maybe a robe.
Strange. Shall we go investigate?
It's not our house, Trotson. It could be a perfectly normal occurrence here. Remember it, but don't worry about it.
All right. Are you going to bed?
Yes, momentarily.
Where are you going?
I have never loved. But if I did, and my spouse lay dying, I certainly would not be cheerfully talking over dinner, visiting my races, or ignore it when my sick wife rode by in a carriage.
What are you saying?
It feels like Lord Mustang is hiding something. And you saw his horseshoes.
I can't say I did.
He very clearly had red brick dust on his nails. That means that in the past week he's been in Philadelphia, or some districts of Manhattan where red bricks are common. Whichever one, he has left his dying wife alone for at least 4 to 5 days, and we know she's been acting sick, and acting strangely for about 7 days. His debtors would be local, so why leave the islands?
I don't know, Holmes. How would we go about finding out?
Well, after I apologize, I intend to ask Giselle.
Capital idea. Let me know how it works out in the morning. I'm beat, Holmes. I'm going to bed.
Very well. I'll try to be quiet when I come back in so I don't wake you. Sleep tight, my good fellow.
Colty? What are you doing here? I was just about to go to bed.
Can we talk?
Sure.
First of all, Giselle, I am so very sorry. I didn't know.
It's fine. This isn't how I hoped to tell you.
I'm sorry that I wasn't kinder to you about certain things in the past. Had I only known, had I been more observant and figured out, I certainly would have...
Just forget it, Colty. I'm getting married, and you have another friend now.
Who is your fiancée, by the way?
She's from Saddle Arabia.
I didn't know you liked mares.
I don't. I agreed to go out because she's the only pony who's ever been interested. Honestly, she's never even talked about marriage. I just told Father that to make him happy. No pony would ever marry me.
You are a beautiful, charming mare, Giselle. Any pony would be lucky to have you.
What did you come to my room to say?
Oh, yes. Well, I came to ask about your father. He left you and your mother after he found out she was going to die. And he left for over 5 days.
Yes, last weekend. Why?
That just seems out of character for the stallion I knew.
It surprised me, too.
I couldn't help but wonder why he would leave, and if your mother is so sickly, why would she continue taking her evening rides?
She did stop for a day or two.
But she is deteriorating in health. She shouldn't be getting worse than getting better again.
What are you getting at?
I'm saying... I'm not sure what I'm saying, but it's suspicious.
There is something else, Colty. Mother has had a dog for years, a spaniel named Rowdy for almost a decade. But just yesterday, he sent the spaniel to live with Sandy Bain, one of the racers who'd always admired the dog. Mother loved that dog like her child. Why would Father give it away? If Mother ever commented on it, I obviously never heard because I haven't seen her since she was given a month left, except to wave at her in the carriage. Even when she gave me the heirlooms I'm displaying at the museum, she wrote me a letter and had her maid deliver it to me.
Did she wear that veil before, or was that a relatively recent fashion choice?
Only since last week. Father said it was because her skin was very sensitive.
How strange.
I try not to think about it. I feel like she's dead already.
I'm sorry for keeping you up. I'll let you sleep now.
Hey, Colty.
Yes?
Do you think you could ever feel the same?
Well, I don't think it's impossible.
Thank you for being so nice about everything.
Good night, Giselle.
Good night.
This is all intriguing, but what do you think it means?
I'm not sure yet, Trotson. I have no data. I can't make bricks without clay. First, I want to talk to Sandy Bain, the jockey. Are you Sandy Bain?
Yes, sir.
I wanted to talk to you about your new dog.
Rowdy? Oh, yeah. I'm so happy to finally have him. I've always loved that dog.
I was wondering if you knew why Lord Mustang might have given him to you.
Well, officially no. But I'll tell you something odd if you promise not to tell Mustang about it.
Of course.
Yes, we promise.
Well, I passed the old family cemetery the other day, as I was trotting around the property stretching, and if I've passed that thing once, I've passed it 1,000 times. But this time, I saw Rowdy up at the crypt. He was barking up a storm. I stopped to see what he might be barking about, and when I did, I saw the door to the crypt open. Lord Mustang came out and locked the door, and he looked furious. He asked what that dog and I were doing there, and I explained. He was furious with Rowdy, and I thought he might hit the poor thing. But instead, he told me to take the dog home with me and keep him. I didn't even have to think about it. I love Rowdy, but I thought it was strange for him to be there at the crypt when no one had died.
This is rather strange. Thank you for telling us. Oh, and one more thing. May I borrow Rowdy this afternoon for a few hours? I'd like to take him for a walk.
Normally I'd say no, 'cause I don't know you. But I've read all of Dr. Trotson's stories in the papers about you and all your adventures together. So, why not? He's awfully friendly. Just bring him back by 6 so I can feed him. He gets a little grumpy.
I honestly thought you would refuse having read those.
Thank you so much. We'll be back to retrieve him.
All right, Holmes. So we are walking a dog. What does walking a dog have to do with figuring out why Lord Mustang gave the dog away?
It's 5:30, so I'm thinking you will have your answer relatively soon, my dear fellow. Ah, yes, here she comes, Trotson. Be a good stallion and stop the carriage as Lady Mustang passes.
All right. Stop! Halt!
What in equestria are you doing out here, sir?
Excuse me, maid, but I would rather Lady Mustang herself address me.
You impudent young fool, get out of the way of the carriage.
Lady Mustang, can you even hear me?
Go, Rowdy, go!
No, driver, move quickly, drive now!
Oh, it's all right, Rowdy.
Now, Holmes, why did I almost get run over? What was the point of that? Did we at least learn something?
Yes, we've learned a great deal. Let's return Rowdy to Sandy Bain, and then we have a crypt to visit.
I was afraid you might say that. Best vacation ever.
This is the crypt, I do believe.
It's creepy, Holmes. I don't like cemeteries at night.
Come on, Trotson, we are ponies of science, aren't we?
It's still creepy.
All right, I almost have the lock. Yeah, got it. All right, in we go.
This place is horrid, Holmes.
Do you smell that?
It smells like rotting flesh. You know, like a crypt.
No. Crypts smell musky, dusty. They only smell like this when some pony has been recently buried.
My gracious, Holmes, you can't mean.
I hope I am wrong about who it is. This casket is brand new, and the screws are loose.
You must have a few screws loose if you're going to do what I think you're going to do.
We must open it. I'll need you to help me.
I feel unwell, Holmes.
Come on, Trotson. Show me what you're made of. Lady Mustang.
Sweet Faust. So Lord Mustang.
I don't think so. But I will have to make sure.
What shall we do? The big race is tomorrow.
We have to tell Giselle.
I don't believe you.
Miss Mustang, it's all true. I saw it myself.
I don't want you to take my word for it. I'll prove it. But I want you to be ready.
Are you telling me my mother is dead?
Yes, Giselle. I'm sorry.
I can't believe this. Was she murdered?
It's possible.
But I don't think so.
Well, what should we do? Does father know?
That's what I'm going to find out.
Are you saying that my father might have...
No. Well, maybe.
We can find out right now.
Yes. But I need you to be strong for me, dear. Can you do that?
Yes, I'll try.
Come on, then. Let's go see your mother.
Lord Mustang?
Not quite.
Get out of here! How dare you enter a lady's room without knocking?
Trotson, calm this lady down.
What do you want?
Don't worry. We won't shoot unless you run. Now, Lady Mustang, take off the veil and show us who you really are.
No? Fine. Then you give us the pleasure of letting Giselle remove it for you.
Gladly. Prince?
The racer!
What are you doing?
Lord Mustang, take a seat.
Listen, gentle colts. Giselle had nothing to do with any of this.
Believe me, I know.
This isn't what it looks like.
Funny, because it looks like you murdered your wife.
Except he didn't.
You don't think I murdered her?
Not at all.
Oh, thank Faust.
There's a far more pragmatic explanation. Your wife died of a pulmonary disease, and your days on the continent were to purchase a brand new coffin for her.
So you found her?
Yes. You were thorough. Afraid that the dog's endless barking at the crypt would give away your secret. You gave the animal away, but unfortunately, you only silenced one witness. Bane told us the rest.
Shercolt, we haven't done anything illegal.
How could you not tell me my mother was dead?
Oh, my sweet angel, I couldn't tell anyone except these two, who were necessary to make my plan work. I knew that if I didn't win a lot of money, then when the estate returned to your uncle, we would be out on the street. Winnie's brother always hated me, and I wasn't sure he'd overlook his hatred of me enough to let you live in the mansion after your mother was gone. But she died before the race could even happen. So I devised a plan. I decided to bet more money than I actually had on the race, over 100,000 bits. But I had to be sure the bet would pay off. So I bet all the money against Prince winning, and offered to give him a cut of the money if he lost.
40%?
I'm old too, Giselle, and I won't last more than a few years. But I had to be sure you were safe. So I looked at your mother's entitlements in the property, and I found that she had the rights to the historical pieces. So I forged the letter the maid gave you, because I knew that you are a published author and you could take care of yourself, but those artifacts will ensure that you're a wealthy mayor. Once you were taken care of, there was only to make sure that your mother was seen from time to time, and Prince was the perfect height to pull it off. So I made up the story about her skin growing sensitive from the disease and that she had to wear the veil.
Trotson, if you remember our first night here, the jockey that we saw in the dark robe running across the lawn? That was surely Mr. Prince here, getting out of costume for the night and going home.
Father, why couldn't you have told me?
Because, my love, I knew you'd be devastated, and it was imperative that no pony else know. I was afraid your grief would give the whole game away. I was going to announce your mother's death on Tuesday and have her buried properly. Shercolt, please don't turn us in. We haven't broken the law.
Yet. But fixing a race is certainly against the law.
If you turn us in, then all our beautiful historical relics will be sold to the highest bidder and never seen by the public again, and Giselle would have nothing from her mother, nothing to carry on our proud family name. I wouldn't have done any of this if it was just my debts. I would have gone bankrupt with honor if it was just me. But I had to take care of my daughter.
That doesn't give you the right to break the law. But all the same...
Holmes, are you going to let him get away with this?
We are not the Lyondon police, Trotson. We could report him, but I see no reason to do so.
Oh, thank you, Shercolt. Thank you so much.
I'm surprised at you.
But only on one condition, Lord Mustang.
Anything, you name it.
Move Trotson's bet to be against Prince, so he wins too.
But how did you...
Last night you laid your change purse on the nightstand. It was full yesterday morning, and you had no other opportunity to spend half of your pension.
Well,
Of course, Shercolt, I'll do it. Can I put you down too?
No, thank you. I have my own vices.
Thank you, Colty. I don't like what he's done, but his heart was in the right place.
Of course. Now I think we better rest. We have a big day tomorrow.
Miss Mustang,
Yes, Doctor?
I've never seen a griffin cry before last night when you found out your mother was gone, and when Holmes was being careless. I didn't know you could love a hurt like we can.
I'm sorry?
I never saw you as equine, but you are all a half-equine.
If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you kill our mothers, we not cry?
I can't change overnight, you know. But I want to say thank you for being so kind to me, even though I've been so rude.
Not only are you welcome, Doctor, you are welcome to my home anytime.
Thank you, Miss Mustang. You can call me Fawn, though.
Only if you call me Giselle.
Here they come around the final lap. Prince is dropping, Sandy Baines taking the lead. Oh no, Prince appears to be having some trouble. Oh no, he's slowing up. Here they come around the final lap. And Sandy Bain wins the race. Celestial, what a run. And Horseshoe Prince takes last place. What an incredibly unexpected turn. Thank you, every pony, for joining us at Old Horseshoe Ranch Derby for the first race of the season. Be sure to come back next week for race number 2 of the season, when we'll see the Saddle Arabian racing team join us and show us what they got. That's all for tonight. Mares and gentlecolts, have a good afternoon.
All has gone as planned, Shercolt.
Well, I'm glad to know that you and Giselle will be all right.
Thank you for everything, Colty.
I thought you'd be more upset in light of everything.
Honestly, I'm kind of relieved. Mom was suffering for so long, and I feel happy that she's in a place she won't have to hurt anymore.
I'm glad to hear that. I think Trotson and I have to be heading out, though. Our ship leaves Shireland at 4, and it's already 2:30.
Please come back soon, Colty.
I will. I'll see you very soon, my dear Giselle. I wish you and your mare friend the very best.
We don't need it.
Well, Giselle, I hope you don't think...
I don't. I'm just happier being something to you than everything to some pony else. And if I never love any pony else, then I'm happy to spend my life waiting.
Come on, Holmes, we're going to miss our ship.
I'll see you soon, Colty. Be safe.
Thank you, Giselle.
What was that about?
I'm not entirely sure.
Holmes, I know it is your life. I know you are right. I have no right to ask, but as your friend, please, can you just cut back on your use of Hasbrite? Just to be safe. It'll be healthier for you.
Cut back?
You take it every day.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps could you try to move it to every other day? It could save your health.
I box and run. I get plenty of exercise. I eat an average amount. I'm young. I'm perfectly healthy.
Yes, but in time, it will have its effects, Holmes. Please, as your friend, as your best friend, I'm asking you, please. If you aren't an addict, if you can stop any time, then it should be no big deal.
Of course I can stop any time.
Will you cut back then?
For you, dear friend, anything.
Oh, thank you, Holmes. Thank you so much. That means you won't be taking any tonight, right?
Right.
Oh, Holmes, I can't tell you how relieved I am.
I'm glad it has made you happy.
It really has. In fact, I've been so worried about it that I'm exhausted now. And who knows, maybe you'll want to cut back even more when you see how much clearer your head is without it.
Perhaps. Who knows? Good night, Trotson.
Oh, I'm going to the horse race at the castle tomorrow.
Have fun. And be careful not to bet too much. You don't want to blow all the money you won at Horseshoe Ranch.
Don't worry, I won't. I'm pretty smart with my money. Good night, my dear Holmes.
I'm not an addict. I just need it. Needing something doesn't make you an addict. I need food, but I'm not an addict. Trotson is happy. He never has to know if I take it tonight. I need to. I don't want to. But I need to. And it's not an addiction. It's just something I need. I'm not an addict. I'm not.